Countdown to Esmeralda Bay, directed by Jesus Franco. 4 minutes in, the terrace always starts shooting them, and they use slow motion footage to make it more dramatic. That's kind of a dated thing in movies, but it doesn't bother me too much.
With her. Wait, calm down. Where's Wilson? Does he know about this?
I think they're adding in bird noises because the bird noise sounds like one bird instead of multiple birds, and it's very repetitive. I guess that's to make the scenes where they're talking sound more like natural because they're in nature, but it's kind of annoying and too much noise. And maybe maybe the bird noises are kind of unnecessary, or they could have filmed in a different part of the day where there could be more bird noises. Next, we learn more about the people getting shot. She has to deal with her mom being dead and having a new mom who doesn't even show up to her birthday. And we see our charming old man who wears a black suit and I guess stealing blondes from people who are appropriately aged enough to have young blonde girlfriends is what makes them handsome and cool. Dating people that are 20 when you're in your 60s was handsome and cool back in the 80s. During talking scenes, there always has to be music to, I guess, make the scene more interesting, but the music they play has rhythm, but sometimes it sounds like they're using only one instrument instead of multiple instruments, so the music sounds less dynamic. But I guess that helps us focus on our talking more. I guess what I'm trying to say is the music is kind of unnecessary and not that good.
This is Wilson. We'll know in a minute.
Senor Lamont is in a meeting. May I take a message?
Meeting?
Maybe it's supposed to sound like a bunch of people are talking outside the building, or there's a bunch of ocean water around, but it's just way loud and it goes over a dialogue and it's kind of annoying to listen to. And it's not necessary because there's not a lot of people in this room. And the walls are made out of concrete. So how will we be able to hear the people outside? And when he throws a smoke bomb at old man, he's a terrorist, so he's throwing a smoke bomb to distract him. He coughs, and the coughing is obviously dubbed. In every scene where there's talking, there is music, like overlaying the talking, and it makes the talking hard to focus on. I guess the music is trying to make talking more intense, but the acting can do that on its own, and it's just like really clouding to hear. Like it's too much to listen to. And hearing the ocean is not always necessary, especially when they're inside. There's scenes where terrorists are shooting people, and we don't see their bullet wounds. I guess they're trying to make it be quick cut, but it doesn't have that much dramatic impact. We just go right to this scene where a woman is in the pool. They show a lot of scenes of the terrorists. I guess this movie is trying to like humanize the terrorist or make him seem more evil because he does date around a lot. He has this older lady with short hair and they like touch each other a lot and she lets him call her a whore. There's some weird relationship dynamic stuff like that. But he also dates a younger woman. So I guess he's a womanizer. Is that opposed to make us think that he's more evil? Because before in the movie, you are using the same characteristic to make a man seem cool and charming. but I guess when you do with the evil characters, you're supposed to think he's an evil womanizer. I'm kind of confused. Some of the best and dramatic moments in the film is when this house is burning and a woman is dying and people are being gunned down and shot, and it's very fast and intense, and you feel the drama of the moment. This older lady is written to like a lot of men all the time because that's how Jesus Franco writes a woman when he's in the mood. Maybe when he's getting massaged by a masseuse and thinking about his crazy fantasies. Yeah, this old lady likes a lot of men. He tells the men not to be violent because he is dealing with death, and also he can't handle all this propaganda by the soldiers. But these men need to be violent because there's still a bunch of terrorists shooting people. Next, we see a woman getting interrogated by the terrorists, and she doesn't want to tell the terrorists anything. But the only way of fighting back she can come up with is spitting in his face instead of like kicking him. I don't know, I guess women are supposed to be seen as hopeless in these torture fetish scenarios. Next, we get a scene of them talking, and he is gonna perform a speech that's written by the terrorist, but he wants to edit it so he can change what the terrorist says to make sure that it's more favorable of the country that he's putting together so he can manipulate them a different way than terrorists is manipulating them. But the terrorist doesn't really understand that. So the terrorist just stupidly thinks that the president is going to correct his spelling mistake, as if a president will make a speech that sounds good for a terrorist to read to help a terrorist. No, a president is supposed to be against the terrorists. Next, we get another scene where we hear the helicopter noises and the sound of the music when it wants to make the scene more exciting, when the sounds of the helicopter could also make the scenes more exciting instead of the music. Next, he tries to kill the president, and we have very intense dialogue where they say fuck a lot, and we hear birds chirping the entire time, which again is unnecessary because you can't hear bird chirping when you're inside. You don't need any added music here because the dialogue is already intense enough to get emotion from the audience. Is it really necessary to have a woman in a towel during this scene? Is this what this couple does? Do you have a woman walking around in a towel majestically as he plays music for her? Is that supposed to be a erotic thing this couple does? Or is it just unnecessary? Near the end of the film, that guy finally realizes that he needs to use violence to kill the terrorist. So the movie ends on a note where there could still be terrorists terrorizing the country, but that is actually a good way to end because it's a very real and dark ending. And they try to add hope with this guy playing the guitar, but there's no hope in this scenario. This is a real dark ending for this film to have. So that's Countdown to Esmeralda Bay. This movie has some good dramatic elements, but the music really over lays the dialogue in a lot of scenes, and it's just too much noise to listen to. And the music isn't really that necessary because acting can be intense without the music. But this movie does do a good attempt at having a dramatic story, and it deserves more than 3 out of 10 on IMDb. Maybe like a 6 out of 10, because of just how overbearing the music can be over the dialogue, and how some of the moral stuff doesn't make sense, like how that soldier is supposed to be seen as bad for having sex with two women when there's another character that's having sex with two women and he's supposed to seem cool. But I guess that's just coincidental. That's not supposed to be showing a difference between the characters. It's just something that I picked up on. But this movie is pretty good. I guess I recommend it. But the music can be um annoying at times when it's during the dialogue. Bye.